Welcome back to the Warriors Den, everybody. It's been an eventful week since we last saw you. I'm joined here by Damien, as always.
Yes.
Our game director for online. We're online right now. We're streaming on Twitch and YouTube and Facebook. So we've got a really good, sorry, I don't know. I also want to apologize. I'm wearing shorts today. I don't usually wear shorts on a stream, so I'm sorry you have to look at my knees for the next hour or however long we're doing this. It's very unprofessional, and I regret it.
That's a rule.
I regret it greatly.
That's one of the rules. Like, we're not allowed to wear shorts. We're not allowed to wear brands and stuff like that.
It's really hot in Montreal and very humid. And anyway, I do apologize. You have to look at my nude knees. But let's talk about what's on the show today. We've got a lot. We teased a bit on, we told people on Reddit a bit of the agenda so they know. Because they get grumpy if they come to the show and they don't get what they want. So I figure, here's what you're getting. Decide if you want to come or not. So if you're here, thanks for coming. If you're not, maybe you made a bad choice. On the show this week, we've got a bunch of news we'll hit off in a couple minutes at the top. And then we're going to be joined by our friend Luke, as usual, to get an update on the Hero Series, our ongoing, the For Honor Hero Series, our ongoing competitive tournament that's going on, that we're working on with ESL. Then, with our man Damien and Roman, we'll talk about the live update.
Yeah.
We'll talk about a title update. And then we'll go into details on the next public test. We'll go into the details of what's been changed since the previous one and what a lot of you want to know, some specifics on the defensive meta changes that will be in the public test for you to try out and let us know what you think of.
And it's with a PowerPoint.
A PowerPoint that Roman did, by the way. This is a Warriors Den first.
Yeah.
I gotta say, it's a little better looking than yours, Damien.
Oh, yeah?
Maybe the information quality not as great, better looking. You know, then we'll do our usual, probably a pretty short Q&A, to be honest. It's gonna be a bit of a long show, and then a short community corner, and that'll be our show. So, the news.
Perfect. Yes.
The news. The big one, Public Test 2.
Yeah.
We can now announce the date.
Next week.
Next week, kicking off next Thursday, the 27th, Public Test number 2. We'll be live on PC again, PC only. So, like I said, we'll get into the actual details of that later on the show when Roman is joining us. But that will not only just be the defensive meta stuff, but it's a bunch of changes based to the ranked duel tournaments based on the previous public test.
Exactly. And we'll go into those details too.
Yes, because we got a lot of good feedback on how to improve the ranked duel tournaments, and now you'll be able to test it out, as it should be with a public test.
Exactly.
Today, on console, our console friends are now up to date with version 1.09. That was released last week on PC, and now it's on console. What also comes with that, what that means is, if you were looking for those Shinobi and Centurion executions, you couldn't get them last week, now you can. They are available on console. And if you need the notes, the patch notes for that, they're on forhonorgame.com/patch notes. Did you know that we have a URL? We do.
I know that.
Out today, which some of you might have already tested out, is Live Update.
Yeah.
It's called V1.09.01. I don't expect you to remember that, but there's a live update today. And again, the notes are, we'll talk about them on the show. Yeah.
And it's on both platform, PC and console.
Yes, exactly.
Right now.
And now, title update version 1.10, version 1.10, the next patch, basically, we can say as well.
Coming next week.
Coming next week. To all platforms.
Yeah. And we will detail also what it brings.
Yes, and it's looking good for the 25th. That can always move a day or two depending on our certification. As you know, we talk about every time, but looking like Tuesday the 25th. And we will get into what that means in a few minutes. So, bam, bam, all these updates.
All these patches.
And then this week we have something cool that we haven't done.
Yeah, it's the first time we do that.
Yes, how do we call this? I wrote it down as a special event. I think you have a better
for me it's name. A game mode event or game mode variation event.
Game mode variation event.
So we will activate again the event playlist in the stronghold of your faction. But that time is not to play the new DLC maps, but that time is to play a new mode we've made, like a mode variation we've made. We call it the Realistic Dominion. Realistic Dominion. Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
And Realistic Dominion, basically it's a Dominion game mode, but you don't have any fight HUD, so it means you don't see the stances of your opponent. No gear stats, no radar, no revive. So hardcore version of Dominion. Yeah, so it's first time we do that. It will start Friday, the 21, up to the 24th. And you will get the usual rewards you get by playing Dominions. Because it's an event playlist, for the moment, they don't grant war assets.
Right.
So no war assets on that playlist. You can complete your usual Dominion orders by playing a realistic Dominion, which is really cool. And we've also added 2 new side orders that will go with alongside that event. So we have the Special Executioner, where we ask you to perform 4 executions in the event playlist, and a Special Slayer, where we ask you to do 15 takedowns in the event playlist. And both of those side orders are giving you, contract orders are giving you 100 steel and 750 XP. And they will be live at the same time as the realistic Dominion event. And on top of that, we decided to do again an order event this week.
A community
event,
like
2 weeks in a row, community event, and that one specifically for the realistic Dominion. So we ask you to play in that playlist, and if you do so, you will win 2 scavenger crates. Yeah. So that's
right now,
a
people
really
in the
cool
chat
weekend,
are
basically.
probably telling us to piss off, as they do whenever we mention the word crates.
Whenever we give them stuff.
But I think that's really cool, and I'll be interested to see how people like that. It's a bit hardcore.
Yeah, so give
realistic
us feedback.
Could also
give
be
us
hardcore.
feedback on realistic Dominion, what you like, dislike, etc. It's the first time we do that. We'd like to do it more, so to bring more new modes and new variations and new fun stuff only for a few days in that playlist.
And as we mentioned,
So
that
give
kicks
us,
off
feedback on
tomorrow,
that.
I believe at 1:30 p.m.
It's 1:30 p.m. tomorrow, and same hour on the 24th for
when it ends.
So it's basically when the faction war turn switches.
Aha.
That's when we do
That's
the
how we
updates.
implement changes.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, let us know what you think of that. It seems like a fun thing to try out. It seems cool to me. And as always, we also have new content of the week.
Oh yeah.
This week it's elite outfits for each hero, and they are 7,000 steel each. So let's roll that video, and then we'll be back with Luke to talk about the For Honor Hero series. And we're back with Mr. Luc Duchesne.
Hello, Mr. Pope.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Yourself? Just before you start, Pascal, why don't you make yourself useful, please, and throw me this? Please.
What is this?
Thank you.
What is this?
Please cover your leg, you crazy man.
Yeah.
How dare you?
I feel terrible.
How dare you doing that on the stream?
Now I have, it's like...
Cover your leg.
Oh, shout out to Watch Dogs.
Yeah, and it's a Twitch watchdog.
Twitch and Watch Dogs.
Oh, now you're...
These things are on high demand. I actually feel complimented here. I'm going to keep
Yeah,
this.
so Pascal made himself useful for once.
For once.
Yeah.
F you, Pascal. Hey, so welcome back. We're here to talk about the Hero
you.
Series. One thing I feel like I should clear the air on, if any of
you
our
should.
friends in the press are watching, apparently they watch this.
Yeah, they're watching you, actually.
Some stories were written about me, which is, it's never good when you make
That's okay.
yeah.
I was just fooling around with you.
Never good when you make a story about yourself, and I did not intend. So last week on the show, I was joking around, and I made the mistake of using the term fake news, which I know is an inflammatory term, when I was talking about the number of people in our game. I was referring to an article that mentioned 95% of our player base was gone. It's not fake news. I take this back completely. I don't use Trumpisms lightly. What it is, though, is not complete information. So, you know, that was me just kind of joking around, but I do apologize. I don't mean to cast a negative light on the writer of that article, but that was based on Steam data.
Yep.
Steam data only. Our game's available on Steam, Uplay, also Xbox, also PlayStation. So we have a lot more platforms than that. So whatever your name is who wrote that, I apologize. It is not fake news. But not complete news.
Having said that, I think people will be, because I came in on the stream to say this wasn't true, and do you know how many people we got? Unique players in June.
4,000. Based on Steam stats, is it? No, more than that? 10,000. 100,000.
You might go in bigger chunk now.
A million?
A little bit more.
More than a million.
We had 1.3 million players in June.
Wow.
So it's pretty good. So there are still a lot of players playing For Honor.
Right.
So
And if that was 95% of our player base gone, that would have been...
Only damn.
I wish we had that many original.
Yeah, I wish too. But seriously, we had 1.3 million players in June, and we wanted to share that number because there have been a lot of questions about how many people are playing For Honor, and the game is still alive,
Right.
it's still striving, and that's why we are doing the Hero Series, the For Honor Hero Series. So we wanted to share that number today.
Yeah.
And we felt it was important. First, you wanted
To save
clear
me, to get me out of the hole.
exactly, to save you and to throw you something like a safe.
Yes, a lifesaver.
A lifesaver.
Life preserver.
And yeah, so we wanted to mention that. But now that we gave a piece of information,
Yeah.
you want to talk about the For Honor Hero Series?
The Hero Series itself, which is also at over 1,000 participants.
It's over 1,000 participants per week. So it's really good. We have more subscribers. It's not everybody who check in. So if you register, you might want to check in. It's important to go in and play your matches.
You know what's funny is actually I was watching our friend Ice Guys play his match last week, and there was a guy in the chat being like, he realized over the course of the chat that he didn't check in for his match.
Damn.
So I don't know if it's a little complicated to check in, but make sure you check in. So you
It's like missing a date. Like, you don't want to do that.
Yeah, no.
So it's, but there's still 2 weeks to go. And as you'll see, there's still like a lot of good things to happen. So let's take a look at the standing.
Yes.
To see how things are going right now. And we are going to start with Europe on the PC. So Clutchmeister is still number 1.
Yes.
After winning week 1, he finished 3rd this week. So he has now 150 points. Solips from the Netherlands claimed the 2nd spot and climbed the ladder up and is now 2nd. Sophie Face finished between 5th and 8th position this week, got 25 points. So he's now in number 3rd position. It's
as
a
we
tie.
mentioned before, still very impressive with the Shugoki.
Yeah, but it's a tie now, but we have to be careful. And number 4 is Zeo Fuse from Estonia. Very, very good week. He was number 9 last week, if I remember correctly. And he's now number 4. So if we were going to make the cut today, he would have earned his spot to Los Angeles.
Shout out to Estonia.
Yeah, exactly. Very, very good performance. Then we move to PlayStation 4. Notre ami Jamel en France. So my little French part. So Jamel, bravo, félicitations. You're completely dominating the battlefield on PlayStation 4. And I suspect you started to pack already for your trip to LA. Don't do that too fast, but if you do, don't forget your crème solaire, your because it's hot in LA during June and you can get some sunburns if you don't do that. Stempel 111 got no points and still number 2. And we had a second guy from France, Chagad, who's now in a second position, a tie with Stempel 111 at 75 points. And our 2 Italian friends are now number 4 and 5. They were still in the top 5 last week.
Nice.
On Xbox One, and that is the funny thing you'll see. Same thing for North America. Xbox One is where the action is taking place. So right now, Sniper Dad 98. He lost the lead and he's now second with 115 points. Only 15 points more than last week, so he ranked between 9 and 16. So yes, very good first week, but then it's more difficult second week and he lose the spot. And after finishing second during week 1, HDLE finished third this time. His total number of points bring him in the first position at 125. And that Junkie Pie, second place, bring him in a tie for the third position with Arc 7712, who beat him last week, and he's now at 100 points. So the next 2 weeks will be very interesting to find out who will get the crown and go to LA.
I'm fascinated by the breakout of countries. You see, there's no Germany on PC, which is surprising me because they're such a PC stronghold.
Right. It's like there's no Germany. If I go down, here's
there you
another
go,
one.
number 13.
Orpheus is.
And then on the PS4 side, there's no Great Britain at all, but a bunch of Germany.
Yeah, but
and then there's a nice mix
there are a lot of
Xbox.
Great Britain on Xbox One, which makes total sense. And by the way, thank you very much for allowing me to use a keyboard again this week.
No mistakes yet.
Since I fucked it up big time last week. So let's move on to North America right now, where the Canadians are still strong. So Barras also is first place after finishing second last week. So he has a 100-point. He had a 100-point lead versus the last qualifier, who's Kerry TV. Very good position to earn his spot for the final. And for me, the big question now, I wonder if he will be on the same flight as us, leaving Montreal, because Barras is from our hometown, Montreal.
Something in the water here, I think.
That makes us especially good. So, week 2 winner, Benada climbed the ladder quite fast, and he's now second, right behind Barras. So he had only 10 points coming in week 2. And so you see now with a big win, he make it to the top. Ice Guy goes on the number 3rd. Even though he finished between 17 and the 32nd position.
He had a rough weekend.
Yeah, he had 10 points and only lost a rank, but he'll need to battle very hard if he wants to make it to the final, because if another week like that could be catastrophic for him to earn his spot. And then we have 2 players at 75 points, Kerry TV and Joel Jordan. They're battling hard for this last plane ticket to LA and to earn their spot in the final. So if we move now to PlayStation 4, again, Canada, Ravelord Servant still number 1. Finished 3rd this week, but still on top with 150 points. He won week 1, 3rd position in week 2. Shadows make quite an impression with the 1st place and can seriously threaten Ravelord if he keeps performing this way, so congratulations. And then we have Rikuto, who lost with only 10 points this week. So it's going to be more and more difficult for people to challenge. My money right now is on the top 3, so either Ravelord Servant, Shadows, or Rikuto will make the trip to LA. And now to Xbox One. That's crazy. So just like in Europe, things are getting super interesting. We have a triple tie right now. Seraph won week 1, but he finished between 5th and 8th this week, so only grabbed 25 points. He's still on the top with 125, but XECS Destroyer won the second week, and is now also at 125, and Warclan Mike finished second to have 125 points.
That's awesome.
The thing, though, if we look at the trends week over week, Warclan Mike is the most regular. Finished 3rd, then 2nd. So I'm curious to see how things will evolve, because if Warclan Mike maintains this rhythm, he could be the one making it to LA. He could grab the final, the 1st position in the last week to make it. And now let's not forget our friends in South America.
Oh, yeah.
With Brazil. And BTU Lawrence Sid is on the top, 175 points on PC. So he won a week and finished the 2nd position the 2nd week. So he is in a really good spot. I think he's okay with the weather because it's quite hot in Brazil. So he won't have any challenge to adapt when it's time for him to come to Los Angeles to meet us all.
You know, I think maybe we should go down to Brazil and meet these BTU guys. They seem to be pretty dominant.
That seems like a plan.
Shout out to Brazil. I know you're streaming our stream right now. What's up, UB Brazil?
Yeah, shout out to you. So right now, if we're looking at everything, we have Brazilian players, Canadian players, Mexican players, American players.
Yeah.
So North America and South America is very well represented.
Yep.
So all the countries. And in Europe, we would have Brits, Netherlands, Estonia, French. So it's a great diversity of people, great diversity of countries for the event. For us, it is exciting because it's like second week and we see all those standings change week over week. So I'm very, very curious to see how it's going to be. Next week on Monday, we're going to see the new standings to see who's going to be on top.
Yep.
And it will be quite interesting. Unfortunately, I won't be here with you next week.
Right.
Because I'll be away with the family.
Well, we'll try to get someone in there to update
Yes, I know we're working on that. So I'm taking some time off with the kids.
But speaking about this weekend, I think people probably want to know, what are the plans for the Raider? What happened with the Raider, first of all?
The Raider. Oh, yeah, the Raider. Yeah, so what happened with the Raider? Last Thursday, there was a patch. So there was a bug that was introduced with the Raider. So, and when we discovered the bug, we looked at it very closely. We looked at the forums, at Reddit. You had discussions with people. And we looked at a bunch of different things we could do. And for us, at the end of the day, the key thing is the integrity of the tournament.
Right.
So how can we make sure that our tournament is the best it can be? And a bug like that would have skewed the tournament too heavily on one side. So we took the decision Friday evening, our time.
This was very last minute.
Yes. After you, Roman, and I talked about it, after we looked at everything, we decided to ban the Raider.
Yep.
For week 2. So as of now, the Raider is still banned. We are not lifting the ban for now. There was an update this morning. And for this, congrats to the team. Honestly, it's impressive. There was this bug introduced. We saw it, and we fixed something this morning. Right now, it's out. It's online. I know some of the guys have played with it.
Yep.
Please check it out. Eric will follow up with you. I know some of the guys are asking around to see our things.
Yep.
So we are doing some tests also on our side. And based on all that data, we're going to make a decision either tonight or tomorrow morning to decide if we lift the ban or not. But everybody's clear. The ban is still in effect as of now.
Yes. We don't want to rush into anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
So, so that's for the Raider.
Yeah.
And our last element on our agenda
is the caster competition.
It's the caster. I should start with the caster competition because that's the one I can relate to. Not being a good player and liking to talk in front of a camera and over a gameplay. So one thing, the deadline, quick reminder, July 28th. Please submit things. And it has to be over 400 gameplay.
Yeah.
It's...
Don't give us Rainbow Six gameplay.
No, you're applying for 400 casting. So it cannot be Rainbow Six. It cannot be The Division. It cannot be Tetris. It's For Honor. You see, with the swords and everything, when people chop head. And it's one thing to send out your application. We need a video as well.
Right.
I think this week, for every 4 submissions we receive, we only receive 1 video. So we receive about 25%. This week, then we receive 40, and we got 10 videos.
Yep.
So please make sure to send us your video material.
Yep.
Along with your registrations. So this way we can take a look at it and make sure we have the best caster possible.
Yes, and last week on the show we showed that great footage from King Richard, who was self-commentating while he played.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah. So this week we have another kind of familiar name, I think, Baus Phoenix.
Oh, it's
He
Baus this
made
week.
a submission as well, and we wanted to share that with you guys. And this, again, he's not doing it live, but he is commentating over his own gameplay. So he'll refer to himself as the player sometimes. But we thought this was a good clip to share and further inspire folks to send us their footage. And you can do that on forhonorheroseries.com.
So one last word before we hit the video and we watch Baus Phoenix. Remember, the top 4 players on PC from each territories will get a spot to LA. Number 1 on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One of each territories.
Yep.
Top Brazilian, some wild cards in Europe and 1 wild card in North America to come at the event. At the event, you'll be there.
Yep.
Roman will be there.
Yep.
Philip was behind the camera, will be there. Seb was probably watching upstairs, will be there. There's no fucking way we're taking Pascal with us.
No. He would destroy that event.
He would destroy stuff. So we want to make sure he stays in Montreal, and I'll be there as well. So it will be a pleasure to meet you all from wherever you come from.
Yes.
And keep fighting the good fight. And
let's check out the video from Baus Phoenix.
What is going on, nerds, and welcome to another match analysis. I'm Baus Phoenix, and I said that we'd do some Berserker gameplay. I've got some matches here in the form of a couple different brawls. I got a couple that I did really well in, I got one that I did really poorly in, and this first one is up against a Kinsei and a Valkyrie. So, let's go ahead and jump in and see how we do. Alright, so judging by these guys' levels, it must be level your alt day, because pretty much everyone I've played this morning has had a low-level character that they're bringing out to fight with. But let's go ahead and start things off with an overhead parry. That Valk isn't very comfortable with her character yet, obviously. I'm just going to start slamming on her. Man, like, she's not even trying to block, but then she gets the overhead top-heavy on me. Back off to regain my stamina. She's pretty low. See if I can get this, nope, dodge the spear sweep, though, into a grab, and that is good night. Good job. Nice. She got a couple hits on me there. Valk attacks are super fast. Like, everybody's playing this character now. It almost makes me want to jump back on her. Anyway, we're going to hop over here to see what this Kinsei's up to. Looks like he got the execute on my teammate. Let's see how he does. See if he does any better than his buddy. Initiating with a side swipe is almost never a good idea against high-level players. We're always going to find some way to counter that and punish it. Goes for the helm splitter there. Dodge that into a guard break. Very nice. Oh, more helm splitters. Okay, that one got me. With the guard break, though, not very good for him. Throwing out some lights there. Testing his D game. Seeing if he can block those. He got a couple of them. Oh, there's the side swipe again. Whiffed, and for the heavy and the execute. Jeez, man. Hopefully he learns next round. Let's see if he learns next round not to initiate with that attack. It's more of a reactionary attack for the Kinsei. You don't want to just do that and throw it out there. It's just basically a free parry for any good player. Let's see how he does this round. It's going to be me and him first up. All right, yep. Do your taunt. Let's go. Okay, I guess he doesn't want to fight near the geysers. That's smart. Let's move up to the cathedral steps or whatever that is. And here we go. All right, come on. What you got, big guy? All right, so that's not going to work. Nice defense. Guard break. Roll out of that, though. Counters my guard break. Nice. So he's got decent defense, and I got to figure out how to break him open. Looks like I'm just going to have to go on the defensive. Get that parry into the guard break. He's good at teching the guard breaks, though. He's not falling for the heavy feint into guard break as easily as I'd like him to. But that deflect, that helm splitter deflect, that was pretty sexy. So I got to find a different way to open him up. I'm just going to start, like, tossing some lights out there. There we go. My lights are always going to be faster than his. My lights are going to be faster than his heavies, too. So, as a Kinsei, you really don't want to be throwing out anything from the side. Anything you're going to do from the side is going to be too slow. So this Valk is pretty much dead. Nice shoulder pin, though, Valk. I think I threw out a light attack, and she got that shoulder pin on me. That was pretty sweet. Falls for the zone attack, though. Blocks the last hit of it, and for the spin chop for the win. Spin to win, guys.
Thank you, Baus Phoenix, for that. We're back. Roman has joined us. How are you?
Good, and you?
Everyone's wearing pants except for me. I feel like shit. So you are going to join us.
You know that you're not allowed to do it. I still don't understand that Luke didn't beat you to death on that floor.
Don't worry, I'm sure I'll get emails afterwards telling me I messed up big
when
time.
I wear shorts at E3, I got beaten. So.
Really?
Yeah.
But who wears her?
So you'll never get to see his legs. Sorry. So we've got a lot to talk about.
Yes.
So first of all, today's live update, you know, pretty focused, but it had some very big fixes, I think, for us. Timely fixes. So let's just get into that. The Warlord.
So yes,
And the
this
Raider.
week live update. So we have bug fixes on the Raider, on the Warlord. On the Raider, it's the Stampede charge. That's the minimum delay between the start and the connection is now 300 milliseconds. Used to be 100 milliseconds. It was something that, yes, was detected on the first PTS. Why we didn't fix it between PTS and the patch was because the patch was already submitted before the PTS. That was also, it was in the PTS. So that's why So sorry about that. No, it's
Which is
it's in
not
the game.
that's not the intent with the PTS. I know that led to a lot of people to assume, oh, so
No.
PTS is basically like
That
2
first
weeks
PTS,
before something's
no,
released.
that first PTS, the intent was not also to test that TU. It's just that it required the code from that TU to have the tournament training. That's why.
Right.
Some other part of that TU. Also, the host advantage on stampede charge on the wall is fixed. So those
the bounce back thing, yep.
Exactly. These two major issues the radar are not done for that Eluso since this morning. For the Warlord, same thing. No, the minimum charge duration for the shield crash. It's 300 milliseconds, up from 100 milliseconds. So same thing to make it on par with the radar stampede charge. And last thing, also in that DU, we set it a long time. It took us a little bit longer than what I would have liked, but still, no, it's in the game. Revenge is now removed from all the dual playlist.
Yes.
That's cool.
You're welcome.
And it introduces a small bug.
Oh.
Now in a custom match, you can't reactivate Revenge in duel for the moment. It's a side effect, but we still wanted to push the no Revenge in the public playlists, and something we will fix as soon as possible.
Cool. Now, we also mentioned at the top of the show, not only are we doing this live update today, next week we are releasing another title update, a patch. The basic difference between these are live updates are things we can do in the data. Patches are when we really need to do code changes. We can't do a code change over a live update.
And they need bigger submissions and bigger certifications. So
it's basically live update. It's logic, art, animation, this kind of stuff.
Cool.
And everything that
things
is
that we
TU
can
is
do quicker.
engine.
But they need to be small in size, so you can't do everything in there too. So
Right. So hit me with the info about title update 1.10.
You're getting good at saying those things.
My only job is to talk. I don't have anything useful to say.
I don't have the full detail of that title update, but the main thing from gameplay side on that title update, it's we fix some out of lock issues. So we're fixing the out of lock issues associated to unlocking and dodging while you perform this attack.
Yes.
The attack. So that is fixed. In that TU, there might be some other out of lock that we are still fixing. So what are we doing on out of lock? Well, what takes most of the time is to actually find the issues, because almost all of those are actually in the game since the betas, and it took that much time for you to find them. So imagine for us with much less player. On our tester, it takes us a little bit of time to reproduce them, start fixing them. It's pretty fast. It's either a little bit of code or a little bit of data, but then testing the fact that the fix is in it, etc., can take a little bit more time.
And in this case, it was code. That's why it's in the title.
Yes, exactly.
And in fact, you just answered one of the questions I was going to ask you later from Kashikoi Takumi on the competitive subreddit. I just wanted to give a shout out because your question's been answered.
And the main reason why we do that title update is to bring performance optimization on Xbox One. So we're saying that at each patch we fix stuff.
Yep.
We already fixed some stuff normally on that patch that came today on Xbox One regarding how we send information, etc. So we'll monitor and see how much it improves for the Xbox One players. And we have an extra optimization for the next patch. That will improve network responsiveness basically, and it should reduce the number of errors that are finishing by 118 or 129 disconnection errors. So
cool. So if you're on Xbox, let us know.
Xbox, you should be happier today and even more happy
when it's live.
Tuesday, basically. So it's something we'll check how much it improves the stuff, but normally Xbox One players should have a better performance starting today and even better on the next patch on Tuesday.
Great.
We're also fixing the face-off skill display that was saying nonsense stuff.
Max
and we
has
have
an image.
an amazing picture that we love internally.
Yes, that
Yeah,
launched
I think
a little bit broken.
That illustrates really well how the feature behaved when it launched. So basically, there was a bug in the feature, and that we knew that was also on the public test 1, that was fixed normally for the patch that comes today.
Yeah.
But in the end, that didn't make the cut for whatever reason. So it is now in the next patch next Tuesday. So sorry about that. Now you will be, starting next Tuesday, you will be able to trust the skill display. And we're also fixing various crashes for all platforms. So still fixing stability.
So it's mostly
things,
a stability
It's
update.
mostly, at first it was only a stability update, and then we bring some gameplay stuff in it that were urgent. But yeah, that's the purpose of that patch, is a stability patch.
Well, I'll be interested to see how the out of lock fix next week, how that changes some of the gameplay in the final week of qualifiers for the Hero Series. I know some people use it, and then they can't anymore. So that'll be really interesting.
It's in the game.
You mentioned, Damien, something that we should also address.
Yeah.
In terms of that launching broken, there were a couple things. There's a couple things we said would be in the patch. That once it was live, we found out wasn't, which is not great.
Like the skill.
Yes.
The skill that was also the attacker defender colors.
Yes.
Didn't make the cut, and same thing. Some ornaments, the fact that they adapt to the material.
Right. Like Dabini's Shame is one of them.
Weren't working, so we're on that also.
Yep.
I don't know when it's coming. I don't want to make. We need to double check. It's not in the Tuesday patch for sure, but should be in the next one.
And there was also a change that we did not communicate that was in about the Centurion's punch that people seem to love. I'll take credit for that one. Yeah. No, people like that, so you're welcome. I'm glad we released something about the Centurion that people are happy about.
Yeah, because we have so many stuff getting in the patch that sometimes we miss some of them for the patch note. And sometimes we think some of them are in or they are not. But
Or they invert sometimes stuff that are planned for later actually gets in the changes sooner it starts.
It happens.
Sometimes it's a bit of a mess.
What's important is you're getting updates to your game.
Yeah.
So that's that. Cool. Now, shall we move on to public test 2?
To the PowerPoint.
There's a PowerPoint that Roman has prepared for you today.
With nice
Lots of cool
artworks.
Actually, concept art I had not seen before. Some of them I'd seen, some of them I had not. So good job.
You like my PowerPoint skills?
I like it. I like it. I mean, Damien, you're really good too. I think you're both top of your class at PowerPoint. I'm not going to pick a favorite.
Okay, so quickly, thank you for fucking up all my animations, Daniel. So
I didn't change that.
Yeah, these were supposed to animate separately. Hilarious.
So what is the objective of the next test server? It's not only to test some improvements on the dual ranking, but it's mainly to test revisions of the fight system. So improvements to the fight system for defensive gameplay or overly defensive gameplay. The goal is to interact with you, to gather your feedback, and to have discussions and those changes, and for us on our side to look at how it impacts win-loss ratio and specific usage of some moves or of techniques. And again, what we put in it is not final. It's not because it's in the test server that it's going to roll out in the next patch. That's not the case.
Good.
Okay.
Let's see if we have any. Try. Look at that. Yeah, use right instead of down.
Yeah.
So game mode, what's in it? What's in the next PTS? So in terms of game mode, we have ranked tournament 1v1. So we're gonna expose you all the changes and improvement we've made since last PTS. We also put the normal 4v4 Dominion, the one that is currently live, because we also want to have feedback on how the changes we made to the fight actually impact the 4v4 gameplay.
Group fight, yeah.
So in terms of fight change, what did we looked at and tweaked? So I'm going to go into a little bit more detail just after, but it's mainly changes around parry, how much advantage does a parry give you, guard break, A lot of things on stamina and how vulnerable you are when you're out of stamina. Chip damage, changes on the revenge state, and fixing the flicker issue.
I think something else you might want to say too, or reiterate, is this is a first set of changes to the meta.
Yes.
Like
it's
this
things
is not
that
the
we've
full
been
idea
testing
here.
for a long time internally. We actually had a lot more stuff.
And with the community
also,
workshop.
yes, in the community workshop, we tested some of those changes, but also a lot of other changes. We think that is a first good test, actually, and that's why we want to publish it and start interacting from that basis.
Okay, so I will go through
Make us go away, Max.
the tournament updates
Thank you.
we've done since between Public Test 1 and Public Test 2. So on the ranking side, first thing we revised how we distribute the players within the ranking divisions, basically. It was almost impossible in Public Test 1 to reach a Diamond Tier 5. So now we changed that so that people can reach the higher rank and also can be at the lower rank, basically. We've updated, that was one of the biggest requests, that sometimes players felt that they were losing too much rank points only on one match. So we also tweaked how many points you gain and lose post-match. We had a bug that sometimes when you reach 100% of the division, you were not moving to the next division, so that's fixed. One of the big feedback also we've got in Public Test 1 is about the abandon penalty. Sometimes it was it was more interesting for a player to quit or to abandon the tournament than to lose against a player. So that's not the case anymore. The abandon will be the worst thing you can get rank-wise, because it will be more than the worst loss points you can get, basically. Alt F4 was some people used it as an exploit to avoid abandoning and getting a rank penalty. Now they can't do it anymore. We fixed it. Looking at the dual tournament in itself, so not the ranking, we've updated the maps you would play in. So it's something we didn't have in Public Test 1, even if it's something we wanted to do from the beginning. So now in Public Test 2, you will only play on the 3 validated maps with the community. In fact, we asked the community on that also. So it will be Citadel Gates, The Shard, and Cathedral that are the best maps for the moment for the tournament. We have also updated the matchmaking. So now you will be only playing with players of the same division than you, or one lower, one higher. We're going up to 3 divisions in the Public Test. One of the reasons why we did that in Public Test 1 is because we weren't sure how many players would come. But now we want to test what we want to go live with. So even if we have not a lot of players on a Public Test, we still want to test the real thing we want to get at the end. We're also increasing the timeout. Before Public Test 1, it was only 3 minutes before matchmaking timeout. Now it's going up to 15 minutes to really find the players you need to find to go in tournament. We're reducing the amount of disconnection you can do in a tournament. So now we will allow you only 1 disconnection and not 2, which will also help for the flow and be more severe with the people who try to exploit leaving tournaments. We've added routers for Oceania countries. That was one of the requests we've got from Australian players. Think that they felt the game was pretty laggy. It's because we didn't have any router in the Oceania region, so it's something we've added for Public Test 2. So we'd like them to play Public Test 2 to give us feedback about that. That would be amazing.
Come back, Aussies.
We've also increased the time on tournament dual rounds. We saw that in Public Test 1 we had a lot of rounds that were finishing with a tie. So now we're making the rounds a bit longer. We also, one of the biggest learning from the public test one was the impact of what we call internally the tie cheesing. So people trying to run away, to do ties around if they won the first round, for example, to just win the match like that. So now you won't be able to run away anymore in duel to avoid the combat, basically. And
It's going to be much harder, and it's linked to the next point.
Yes.
And on top of that, so it's two fixes. On top of that, at the end of the round now, the player with the higher percentage of HP will win the round if both players are alive. So those two fixes together should really diminish the amount of ties that we had in public test 1 and do much better matches and fairer tournaments, basically.
And do you not want to go into details about the mechanic?
But basically, what we do is that when somebody is running away, now we're detecting it. When somebody is avoiding the fight, and so we're giving some boost to the guy chasing and some debuff to the guy trying to run away. Speed boost, speed debuff, but also stamina debuff. So when we detect that you're running away, you're not going to regenerate your stamina, meaning every time you're going to roll to try to avoid an attack, you're going to lose stamina. But for as long as you don't re-engage the fight, you're not going to regenerate your stamina, etc. So it makes it much harder to just run away. And if the guy chasing you actually managed to hit you a couple of times, he's going to have more percentage in HP. More HP in percentage, sorry. And so if you're continuing to try to chase you, he's going to win the round. So basically, we're trying to force the player to engage and actually fight to win the round.
Just a note from me, just if I could say, this is a really cool example of, and another great reason why we're doing these public tests. The designers actually and the programmers actually came to me, Eric Pope, and said like, okay, so we want to work on this problem, but we also want to know how the community thinks we should solve it. And so I got to actually tell them like, okay, well this guy's saying, what if you do this? What if you do that? What if you... So they actually used the community's suggestions of ways to solve this issue in their final.
We had also another solution that we tested around creating a capture point in duel, etc. We found that solution, the one we implemented, to work better.
Okay.
To be quicker to do also.
And so we'll see.
Oh, cool. I did not know that.
The one point is that if that proves to be working well, it's something we would like also to deploy afterwards on all even casual playlists, normal dual playlists, if that works well.
Cool.
It's a fix that could be valuable for all dual.
Great.
players.
Oh yes, let's test it and see how it goes.
I love that artwork.
So, fight system update. Nice radar artwork indeed. Okay, so what did we change? So first, in terms of parry, no, the light parry frame advantage is going to be the same as with heavy parry. Why did we change that? It's because the high-level play, it's parrying a light attack is actually something that happens really often. And so that was making the light attack you even want to less do light attack than heavy attack when you are at that level. So no, they are on par. Guard break is not anymore guarantee after a parry, whether it's parrying a light or a heavy attack. You're gonna get a big frame advantage. You're gonna be able to land a light attack as an example, but you don't have a guarantee guard break out of parry. And parrying too early consistently open up your defense. So that's something that was an issue also, that you could try to parry too early in some reactions and actually have a block after that. So no, if you're trying to parry, whether you're in an earth state, block or whatever, if you're trying to parry and you miss the window, you're gonna get hit. So making parries slightly more difficult to do, and give more reward, less reward to a successful parry. On guard break, for the moment, we did only a small change. It's the vulnerability window on attack startup. It used to be based on the attack duration, so longer attack had a bigger startup vulnerability to guard break. The issue that what was creating, it's often for long attack, like if you were facing Shugoki or a Raider or those kind of characters that have slow but powerful heavy attack, you had on reaction the time to trigger a guard break instead of even going for a parry. So that's something we wanted to remove. It's if you want to defend against an attack, you either need to block it, dodge it, or parry it, but countering it with a guard break is not an option. Stamina. So going forward on stamina, the first thing, basically what we want to do is we want you to feel and be more vulnerable when you're out of stamina. So one of the first things is when you're blocking, when you're dodging, no, your stamina is not going to regenerate anymore. So let's say you're really low on stamina and you want to regenerate. Currently, you just have to dodge 1, 2, 3, you're back full. So there is no real risk at being low or out of stamina because you can dodge your way out of it. Now, if you do that, your stamina is not going to regenerate. Also, having that on block allows the attacker to put pressure on the defender by keeping him in a low stamina state. Also, when you're out of stamina, you're much more vulnerable. So dodge is going to be a little bit slower when you're out of stamina. Your blocks are going to be weaker when you're out of stamina. So no more interrupt block on light, for example, when you're out of stamina. So if the guy in front of you is out of stamina, you can actually chain your light attack, even if he's blocking those attacks. As you will see later, we've also improved the chip damage. So even if he's blocking, he's going to still take a lot if he blocks the full chain. And one important thing that we are making also that we want to test, it's you can't parry anymore when you're out of stamina. So you can either block or dodge if it's an unblockable, but no more parry out of stamina. Getting hit when you're out of stamina by a melee attack, it's just gonna pause the regen, so you won't be able to keep somebody out of stamina and locked in that state by using a melee attack. Chip damage. As I said, we've dramatically increased the chip damage. Previously, chip damage used to be between 2 and 10% of the attack. Now it's 18% across the board. Light attack, heavy attack, any attack that is actually doing damage, if it gets blocked, it goes to 18%. It does 18% of the damage. So usually, normal chain, if you block it, it's gonna remove you almost 1 bub of health, something like that. In that version, you won't be able to kill somebody with chip damage. There's not gonna be chip victory. The last 1 HP that you will have, you won't be able to lose it with chip damage. Again, some things that we want to test. We have gone back and forth with this one. We had a version where you were able to kill with chip damage. For the moment, we want to test it with you can deplete almost all of your enemy life, but you can't kill him with chip damage. Let's see how it behaves.
I have a question. Why that magic number of 18 and not 20 or 15? Or how did they come up with 18? No answer.
Save it for the Q&A section.
No, it's not that. It's because basically we wanted to have an average, like I was saying, to have an average of 1 bub of life on the most powerful chains. If you block the full chain, you still lose like 1 bub of life.
Is that a technical term, bub?
Yeah, it's 1 block.
I like it. I've heard pip, but I like bub better.
And so by looking at all the characters and trying to get that balance, that's how we end up with 18%.
Very good answer. Very good answer. You know what? I will do the Q&A. I will do the Q now, and Roman will do the A. We don't need the community anymore.
Revenge. What did we change on the revenge? So currently, one of the issues when you're in revenge is that you're too exposed to crowd control moves. So revenge activation can't anymore be interrupted by melee attacks. Also, while you're in revenge, if you're attacking, you can't be interrupted anymore by a melee attack during the startup of your move. So that's a pretty big thing. But also, to balance that a little bit, if you're in revenge and you're doing melee attack, you're not gonna get that instant unbalance on opponents. We've increased a little bit the shield on your HP to make you a little bit more, to give you a little bit more survivability when you're in revenge. And one big thing that we are testing also is to make that your attacks when you're in revenge can't be parried. Basically, we want to make revenge in a way the opposite of out of stamina state. Like you have the default state, when you're in out of stamina, you're in big trouble. And you can put pressure on somebody to put him in out of stamina. And on the other end, when you're in revenge, you become really powerful, and now you can chain and feel less about being parried and actually use the full set of moves of your character. Then, is unblockable going to be too powerful when you're out of stamina or when you're in revenge? That's precisely why we have those type of things like the PTS. It's because, yes,
Let's
definitely, if a character has an unblockable move in his set, it starts to be really good when you're out of stamina or when he's in revenge. But also, that's becoming an interesting element of the matchup. Because now I'm facing your guy and I know that he has that unblockable. So I don't want to fall out of stamina against you. But also that's usually unblockable attack usually costs a lot of stamina. So if you're using it, there's chances that you're gonna go out of
Putting yourself at that same risk. Yeah.
So it's a complex system here. Definitely it's a worry that we have, and that's something that we want to test here. Actually, there was one more thing on revenge that I forgot regarding guard break. I forgot it. You will figure it.
Well, let's just say next week we'll be publishing a full blog post on
exactly.
this.
That detail everything. That
Yeah.
gives you number of how much we have.
Yep.
We change the moves. It's more high level stuff.
Yep.
And flicker. So we've removed flicker. How did we remove flicker? So there used to be, currently in live, there is a big buffer on the attacks, so that you can cancel that attack to do a zone attack, to make that input easier to do on console. But it's also the case on the PC, even if you're playing with mouse and keyboard. That buffer used to be pretty big, so we've dramatically reduced that buffer. So in terms of timing, you will have to be a little bit more synchronized with your finger. You will have to press the button almost at the same time. There's still a little buffer, but it's really, really small. It's not big enough to create the flicker bug.
As a consequence, zone might be harder to do, is what you're saying.
Exactly. It's going to be slightly tougher to perform. So technically, it's supposed to be slightly tougher to perform zone attack. Actually, when you're playing it, if you're trying to do a zone attack and not trying to do a flicker bug by intentionally doing one, then the other, there should not be an impact. In playtests, internally, people are still able to do a zone attack anytime they want to do a zone attack. But again, that's why also we wanted to test that in the PTS. And that's it for that first batch. So that is coming to the private test, to the public test environment, sorry.
Next week?
Next week.
Thursday.
Thursday.
Thursday through Sunday, so I think through Monday, actually, yeah.
Exactly. So all of those change in the defense meta, plus improvements on ranking and tournament.
Yep.
So that's going to be a pretty big
Yes.
weekend.
So
And
if
then
you
one
are...
thing just that is important, as you saw, I've put a lot of nice artworks in that presentation. It's a lot of concept art that were produced during the development of the game, whether it's from maps or character, etc. Everything is coming from characters or maps that actually are in the game. Like
There are
you
no
might go
teases.
like, oh, it's
There's
a new
nothing new
character.
content,
No,
yeah.
it's different step that we took before getting to the
Yes.
character. So you see there is a lot of artwork of old version of the Berserkers or the Peacekeeper,
Yep.
those kind of
Mercy.
characters. Yes.
There are no teases hidden in this PowerPoint, so don't go looking for. Actually, yes, go back and look for them because then our view count goes up. But no, there's not.
But it's really cool piece of art because you
Yeah.
have some fucking incredible concept artists. So shout out to those guys.
The raider with the chopped off warden head. That's amazing.
love that.
But it's the real rider. This
Yeah.
one. It's the final concept.
I wanted to say for people maybe who didn't do the last public test, if you're just wondering how, just the basics. Anyone who's on PC, you just go to your library, and it's granted to you. It's a separate for I should say For Honor public test, and you just download it there.
And you keep all your progression.
From the previous one, yeah. Yeah.
From the
I
live game.
think we retake your current progression of the live game.
Oh,
I
sorry.
think as of a few days before we launch it,
But
as of this week. But the ranking,
yes, that's what I meant was the rank.
the ranking you got, you reach, we keep it.
Yep.
But we will. What will happen is that during the first matches, you will be able to move more easily from one division to the other to replace people based on the change we did. Because if we kept everything as it is, the test would be invaluable for us for the new stuff we made on ranking. So we really debated should we wipe all ranking profiles or not. In the end, we decided to keep it as it is. So if you were platinum and want to reach diamond, you can come back for that.
See
and
if
at
you
the
can
same
maintain
time,
it.
And at the same time, we can test the new range we've made for public test too.
One thing that is also important in terms of fight is that, so we're changing a lot of things. We've made a quick balance pass on all the characters so that those changes are taken into account in the way they perform and they fight. But it's possible that with those changes, some characters have really powerful techniques or combos and some other got a little bit gimped, etc. It's also one of our goals with the PTS. It's to collect data on those elements to see what we keep, what we go live with, and what does it mean, what we need to take into account and rebalance specific move before going live with some changes.
And I was seeing some player asking when does that come to the real game. That's the purpose of the public test, is that we don't know. We test it first, we get the feedback, we see how much we need to iterate on that, and then we release it when it's ready.
Yes, and Damien, I think there were some other changes from the previous public test on the tournament that
yes.
the team is working on, but
Oh yeah.
is not in this particular build.
Forgot
But
that,
we
yeah.
wanted people to
So
know there are
as we-
additional changes.
Yeah, like two streams ago, we were going through all the feedback we've got from the community. We had a very nice document from
Barras.
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 It was from Barras. And so part of, I think most of the things that were highlighted are fixed in the public test 2, but there are some things that are not fixed in public test 2, but that are fixed here internally. So like sometimes the timer at the top says weird stuff like next match in 26 minutes, which is impossible. So that will be fixed later on. It's something we're working on. We had some crash bugs, many different bugs in the flow, stuff like that. So we fixed a lot of those, but they are not fixed in public test 2. We're also polishing the UI, the user interface, like the playoff tree and stuff like that, for the final release of the tournament. And also we want to change something on the rankings, that if you got a tie right now, the tournaments decide if you lose or win for the purpose of the tournament, and
yeah.
that's also impacts your ranking. And so it's something we don't want to have. So we don't want a tie to impact your ranking, and it's something we don't have in the public test 2 fixed, but that we're working here internally.
Cool. Whew, that's a lot of information.
Yeah.
For one show. I'm getting word from our little goblin Pascal that the chat is pretty happy with these new discussions. He's not a goblin. He's a great man.
Let's take a quick question.
Yeah, he's put up some questions here for us.
From do the name X Sleeping Lizards.
X Leaping Lizard X.
Please answer. How do you get your stamina back when out of stamina if you don't regenerate it when blocking and dodging? So first thing, you should not go out of stamina. That's one of the big things for us. It's out of stamina is a state where you should be in danger. And currently, there's not that much risk in going on out of stamina, and it should be. It should be something really dangerous. So how do you get your stamina back? Well, every time the blocking or dodging, just pause your stamina regeneration for a short time. So even if you're chaining blocks, you're still regenerating, but you're regenerating slower than today, compared to today. Today you just regenerate like you do 2 dodge and you're almost back full stamina. No, it's gonna take you more time. So you still regenerate in between blocks, but because every time you block or every time you dodge, that regeneration is paused, it takes longer. So more time for your opponent to continue to apply pressure to you and to deal damage to you when you're out of stamina.
Cool. Based Solaire, just because we already answered this, I wanted to say it again. He said, you looked at the PTR, decided it was broken, and kept it.
Yeah,
he's talking about the Raider.
charge. Like I was saying, so we're sorry about this one, but the patch was already in submission. So we were like, oh shit, okay. Let's have a fix ready, and we released that fix as soon as we could. I
did a mini rant on that same subject on Reddit because I get where they're coming from, but to understand the process here, like if we were to put the brakes on that patch because of that one thing, that the ripple effects after that for all of our future patches would have been crazy, right?
It moves everything.
We have these very structured production plans, and we really need to stick to them. And if you want your patches that are coming in Season 3, we needed to put out that patch then. So like, it's not as easy as just saying, we're going to hold up the patch for this one Raider bug.
Then, so this one other guy does melee attack, means the bashes like shoulder bash, shove, and headbutt. Yes, it means that it's all the attacks that don't have a direction and that bump your opponent. That's what we call melee attack. Then Jalis 125, can you guys be more specific on what type parries will give a confirmed guard break? No. Parries don't give any more confirmed guard break. You will be able to counter guard break tried after a parry. A parry gives you a big frame advantage that will usually allow you to land a free light attack, but that's all. And also interrupt the opponent. Also parry, you will see do a lot more stamina damage than currently. So it's also a good way to put your opponent out of stamina. It's to parry by parrying.
On my, there was one that we spoke about a bit earlier too, but that comes a lot back in the chat.
Yep.
And now it's Fluker, Son, the Optimist. Were there no new team colors? I thought you were turning some neutral colors to team colors last week. Yes, you're right. That's what we said. That's what's in the patch note. But in the end, it didn't make in the patch.
Yes.
So sorry about that. So it means it will be in the upcoming patch.
Not next week's.
Not the next week one, because the next week one is also gone. So basically,
the new season.
It will come for new season.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sophie Face, Shugoki goes out of stamina if one of your unblockable AVs are parried. Will this continue to be the case on the PTS? Like I was saying, we made some quick balancing for that PTS. I don't remember if we made a specific element for the Shugoki full charge attack. But that's for me the goal of the PTS. It's because we know that you guys are expert of specific characters, etc. And that's the type of feedback that we're looking for, to know if and when and if we release those changes, what type of bigger balancing pass we need to do. So I'm gonna ask you on Twitter, actually.
Yes, let us
next
know.
week. Let me know. And how will Rob Pine?
Rob Pine 17.
How will superior block work with new defensive meta change? So if you're in normal state against somebody in the normal state, it works like today. So it interrupts light attack, just as of today. If you're in out of stamina, your superior block won't work anymore.
And the chip damage still applies.
And the chip damage, I'm not sure.
We'll find out together.
When you're out of stamina, yes, for sure. When you're in normal state, I don't remember if it should be in the patch note. I'm sorry to not be able to answer this one.
As we mentioned, there will be a full blog post next week with much more detail, so stay tuned to our channels for that one. Will there be, Damien?
Yes.
Will there be a realistic 4v4, no gear stats, no feats from Nikologoski?
So there is a Dominion. So I don't know, maybe he's meaning elimination?
Yeah, maybe.
When he say realistic 4v4. Dominion, yes, this weekend, as we said. Yay. And
but
if that's, it's, no gear, no feats. No, we kept the feats because it's really part of the strategy of Dominion. It's something we could try other stuff. So we could so same thing. Some people were saying, why do you kept revenge in it? Well, because that's really where revenge matters. Is when you have outnumbered fights, and we tried it without revenge. It was really really not that good. But again, it's things we're experimenting. So, and also if it's a success for Dominion, something we could do also maybe for elimination with same rules or different rules. So play it, give us feedback, what you like, dislike, and what you'd like us to try next as a mod variation.
Then there is a question from I don't know who, because Pascal didn't care to put the name.
So disrespectful of our chat,
really,
Pascal.
I'm so disappointed.
It's like they tell you to F off every week or something.
So how will someone get stamina back against a character like PK, Valk, Berserker if they end up out of stamina? So yes, those characters are going to be really good to put pressure on you when you're out of stamina. The thing is also by doing all their chains, moves, cancels, etc., they are losing stamina. So yes, you will have to block and dodge. Basically, when you will be out of stamina, you know that before you will be able to exit out of stamina, depending on how good you are, you're going to take a percentage of damage based on the chip damage that you will block. And it could be less or more depending on how good your dodge, etc. But the guy performing all of his move is going to use stamina. So if he's reckless, eventually he will be out of stamina, and so he won't be able to chain anymore, and you will exit out of stamina before him, and you will be able to put pressure on him. If he's playing well, he's going to manage that stamina, and so it's not going to infinite chain you. He's going to stop, re-attack, and so that's going to give you time also to exit. But if the question is, if I'm out of stamina against a character, am I going to take a portion of chip damage? At best, the answer is yes. When you're out of stamina, there is a really high level of chance that you're gonna take damage, even if it's just chip damage. And that's the goal. That's what we mean when we say in out of stamina, you're gonna be much more vulnerable. It's not a state where you wanna be, and when you're in it, it needs to be like, oh shit, I made a big mistake. One of the reasons it's, yes, you're gonna take damage in that state.
There are a couple of questions that I want to ask just because I want more information from you guys. Andrew THS, talk about the controller input problems introduced in patch 109. PM me on Reddit or hit me on Twitter. I don't know what you're talking about, and I would like to, because that doesn't sound great, but I'm not aware of that. So tell me about that. And Bright Lord Snow, similarly, you say Conqueror's Eat Dirt execution is different in game. Are there any fixes in mind?
So usually the most recent thing is the game version and not the video, because we do the video earlier, as you saw
he's
with
saying
data
versus
mining.
the video?
So if it's versus the video, usually the videos are done much sooner, so sometimes in-game it can change a bit. Usually it doesn't, but it can change a bit. So same thing, if he can give you more feedback about what's the problem, it's something we could look into.
Yeah, send me more info on that, please. I'm Mr. Pope on Twitter or Mr. Eric Pope on Reddit. I couldn't get Mr. Pope on Reddit. I don't know.
That's so sad.
Yes, but thank you for all of that. People seem to be pretty cool with these ideas. So we're as interested as you to check them out next week on the public test. Before we go,
Do we do the...
oh yeah, we had a couple others.
Yeah, that's...
Oof, so many questions this week, guys. I said it would be a short one, but I lied. So we already answered Kashikoi Takumi's question about unlock.
Yeah.
Zwatha asks, can we get a detailed roadmap of your goals for the game? What's currently being tested, what's done, what's planned, have you tried but not worked, blah, blah, blah. Teaser for you.
You should watch the Warriors Den next week.
Yeah.
That's all we can say.
Yeah. And then Tripped144. Is there a reason that the matchups beginning each round on elimination is random instead of a cycle where you get a new opponent each round? It's very discouraging for a player who gets matched up with someone 2 to 3 times in a row only to get completely demolished each time and have to sit out the whole game. Sounds like my dating life.
There's no good reason for that.
No,
and
it's-
it's actually something that we want to improve in the future.
Yeah. So we have an improvement on that.
I love that you stole Damien's answer. That was
No,
good.
that's okay. He's the creative director
That's true.
now, so I
it's
have
his
to adapt.
prerogative. Okay, so let's. We're done with questions. Thank you guys. Let's blow through our community corner and go eat lunch because I'm starving. We got some good clips this week. They're all quite short, so this show's almost over.
There is one thing I want to
Oh, here we
say.
go. Here
It's
we
the,
go.
It's never finished.
Never
no, it's
finished.
never finished.
Every time I do
It's
the transition.
it's the alt-tab exploit at the end of Dominion, you know?
Yeah.
Like people are spamming alt-tab, then it restarts the match. The team is working on it.
Yeah.
Don't know when it will be out, but I know we're working
Try
on
to
it. and we
avoid
have a
using
fix.
Alt-Tab in the meantime because
Yeah.
it introduces some issues.
But it's really when it happens that it's not by mistake.
Yeah.
People are doing
Yeah,
it
yeah. Also, don't
on
be
purpose.
jerks. Don't be jerks.
Don't be jerks. Yeah. So yeah,
Okay.
we're on it.
Okay.
And actually, are you really wearing shorts?
Yes. I'm never gonna live it down. Okay. Let's go to some clips. We've got a GIF from. Actually, I'm sure most of you have seen this because it's unbelievably good. From Awesome 3X Ninja. It's called "Am I Going to Have to Choke a Witch?"
Yeah, I love that one.
It's unbelievably good. Just roll it one more time, just because it's so enjoyable. That was our execution
So
that we
much
just
fire.
released last week for the Lawbringer.
Yeah, this one is really cool.
It's so good. I want to see more of these type of.
The
Just
judgments
intense.
of the Lawbringer.
My jaw dropped when I first saw that. Okay, from Esocronos on Reddit, another GIF. It's just called "He Didn't Make It." Yes, yes, yes.
Poor guy.
All 3 of them.
It's really
Oh
nice.
man.
That's what it takes.
That must have
to
felt
get
so
control.
good.
Team play.
That must have felt so good. Except for the guy who got it. So this one's a video from Enkeet on YouTube and Reddit. And that is why you should stop ganking. Big Shug.
That one was good.
Okay, from user 41212 on Reddit, it's a GIF, and it's called "This is why you should taunt more often in combat." Using your taunts to your advantage. Just one more time, yeah. Taunt into the parry. So good. Okay, from Zero Crack on YouTube and Reddit and Twitter, I believe, because I think he actually pinged me on Twitter. How it feels using the new Lawbringer execution.
Shock! Satani! Satani! Inamustinita! Satani! Satani! And this is what it's all about!
I want that hat as
Yeah.
an ornament.
Having the whole Undertaker set.
Yeah.
I want to steal the Honor Mania idea. I don't know what it is yet, but I want to take it. Keenan Nate on Reddit. Another team play lesson. This is a GIF.
GIF or gift?
A gift and a GIF. Yeah, so watch his Lawbringer teammate going around back to help out. Oops.
Ooh.
Oops.
Ooh.
Oops.
Okay.
Yes. Teamwork is important in this game. It's true.
Two bad teams, basically.
Yeah. No judgment.
Oop. Oop.
Enjoyable. And when trick shots are life by Junebug Maine. This is also a GIF. Quick one. Gets out of there. Boom.
Nice.
Nice.
Roll through it again. Oh, brutal.
Like the double.
And our last one, I wonder actually this might be the same person, Junebug on Twitter, is a video. Moments like these are what keep me playing this game.
No superstes! More frote ven! You captured Zone C.
Well
Nice
done,
one.
Junebug.
Fucking awesome.
Yep. Thanks for all those clips again, guys. More and more people have started reaching out to me directly, which is cool with your cool clips. Don't feel bad if I don't use them, but keep sending them. We want to see them. And that is pretty much the show this week, unless you're going to cut in again. One last thing.
No, we will let you end.
As we mentioned, you definitely want to tune in to next week's show. It will contain a big announcement. No bullshit. So you're going to want to watch it.
Announcements.
Yeah. And it's not about new heroes.
It's not about.
And it's so big. I made a note of this. It's so big. Ramon's coming back from his vacation just to do the Warriors Den.
That's dedication.
I think I've sold it enough at this point. But tune in next week, same time, same place, noon, right here on Twitch or YouTube if you're watching there, or Facebook if you're watching there.
And Eric will have pants.
I'll definitely wear pants, but no shirt, sorry. It'll be a nightmare. Let's hit a raffle, and we'll say thanks, guys. See you next week, and we'll see you online.
Thank you, guys. See you.